When I initially started school, it was really no challenge, going through kindergarten, but first grade was very challenging. It was clear that I couldn't read or do math or spell to the same degree as my classmates. And then I got to the third grade and I had a teacher basically call me out. And, she was aware that there was something going on. And so it was from that encounter that I got my first evaluations done. And the first label I was actually given was that I was neurologically impaired. And the NI label was something that was fairly common here in New Jersey at the time when I was being diagnosed. And it was later on that, the title of a specific learning disability was given to me. So I'm a big supporter of inclusion, right? I thoroughly believe that our schools both should have a philosophy around inclusion. And I also believe that there are enough schools that have done a good enough job being able to include everyone together. And the reason why I am a supporter of inclusion is because my time in special education, I think, was like my number one hindrance. I have basically figured out how to deal with all of my impairments around spelling and reading, but it is that sense of being separate, right, of being marginalized that continues to stay with me. My first sort of initial steps into special education involved me being placed in a resource room. That resource room was a teacher storage closet. And I was in there for a few months, being pulled out of class, getting support. And then they just decided that, my challenges were so intense that I needed to be completely into special education. And it's an interesting dynamic because I knew that my teacher and my teacher's aide were remarkable educators. They were very supportive. My parents remarked about how academically I was making these jumps, being in Miss Priscilla Yates's class. But it was a self-contained classroom. It was the room at the end of the hall. It was a school day that did not allow for us to be able to interact very much with kids who were not in special education. Even I remember us going out to recess and we were all by ourselves on the playground, for the most part. We went to lunch with everybody else, but we had our table and we stayed at our table and didn't really interact with other students. And so it's that experience of being segregated, of being separated, that I think has lingered with me the most. I think a lot of the work that I do now as an adult is around trying to counteract those feelings of isolation.
For more information about learning disabilities and ADHD, please visit ldonline.org. This video was made possible by a partnership between the National Education Association and WETA.